Welcome to I Am Well podcast. I am your host, Gemma, a nutritionist and mindset coach passionate about all things health and wellness. I'm going to take you on a journey to discovering what health means for you and how to create a life you love living. I'm on a mission to uplift those who feel overwhelmed with what it means to be healthy, reminding you, my listeners, that nutrition is only one aspect of health, and empower you to live your best life on your terms. Let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to I Am Well podcast. How is everyone doing? We are doing part 3 today with Healthy Living with Gabi. Today we're going to talk a few points, but the central topic is what it kind of relationship are you putting your body in? Like where, what kind of toxicity is around you? And we're talking not just about low-toxing the chemicals and environment around you, but also like situationships. What are you putting yourself in? Who are the people you're surrounding yourself with? That kind of thing as well. But first off, I've got Gabi back on here because obviously the reason why we're doing this part 3 series is because Gabi and I have created the Holistic Method program, which at the moment is a 6-week program. We're looking at possibly changing that to longer next year, but be on the lookout for that because that will be beginning start of next year. We'll also have so many more things to announce. So let's get started with today's topic. Thank you, Gabi, once more for coming on again. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I am so excited to chat about this topic. I think it's just like the final piece of the puzzle. Do you know what I mean? I think that we've got our 3 pillars of our program and just of our whole business, which is mind, body, and lifestyle. So this really encapsulates that environment and lifestyle. So it'll be good to chat about this.
Yeah, and it's one of the most important ones. Like, I do feel like I'm glad we did part 1 and talking mindset and everything. And like any programs I ever do, I always start with mindset because it is like the foundation of what you should begin with. Because it doesn't matter how well you know about low toxing your home and chemicals and all of that, but if you're not having that mindset at work there, then it doesn't matter what you do. So I'm glad that we did start with that. And then our second part was we went extensively into your area of expertise with the somatic movement and trauma healing through that way, which is also so very important. And I'm so grateful for you because you've taught me so much about that. But yeah, now to wrap it all up, we're now really kind of getting into the nitty-gritty of what you're putting your body, like the environment you're putting yourself into. First off, to begin, we're going to talk more around the practical things, like the physical aspects. So low toxing your home, low toxing your beauty products, cleaning products. And I think the best way to get started is I'm just going to ask the question to you to kind of explain to everyone, because I know you dabbled in this first, especially with the cleaning products. You really introduced me into some really healthy options. How did you get started into that world, and why has it become so beneficial for you and your health?
Yeah, so I started my low tox journey. It was probably about 5 to 6 years ago, when I started on my fertility journey after, and I've mentioned in the last 2 episodes, but after, diagnosed with PCOS and classified as infertile and the amenorrhea and so forth. So I was doing a lot more research and reading books about, fertility and how to best, I guess, work with balancing my hormones because I had such significant hormonal imbalance. And I just remember constantly seeing and hearing, even through podcasts, that environmental things play a huge part of affecting your hormones, I guess. And to better balance them, you need to be mindful of the things that you are using and consuming every day. So that's when I started to slowly make some switches in my home. Well, what I deemed was best, but I really didn't have a lot of understanding or deep understanding at that time. So I was just sort of following, I guess, the trends and the fads of what was classified as natural or safe or, the better option. But not really delving deeper into like the ingredients and understanding the causes, and effects of a lot of these harmful chemicals, and understanding the term greenwashing. Like that was, I never even knew of that. And it probably wasn't until the last sort of, I'd say 2.5 to 3 years that I actually really nailed the low toxing, and understanding that greenwashing is something that is used by so many corporations where they might classify themselves as natural and all, eco-friendly and safe and things like that. But it's not until you actually look at the back and look at the ingredients list, which is very similar to foods,
Mhm.
that you have an understanding of, wow, this isn't actually as safe or as natural or as healthy as they claim to be. So that's how I sort of got stuck into my journey. And yeah, I would say it'd be over the last 3 years that I've really nailed it. And I think particularly since becoming a mother, I've been extra more vigilant and mindful about the exposure of harmful chemicals to my young children too.
Mm. Can we go like how crazy is it with advertisement, isn't it? It makes me so frustrated. Like I know that this happens a lot with food, but it wasn't until like we met and you really taught me about the cleaning products and everything too. Like, and I kind of always knew, like, you know how you always have in the back of your head, like you're in the shower and you're cleaning your shower screen with those cleaning products, the glass cleaning products, and you're like going, oh, I'm kind of feeling a little bit dizzy. Like this is kind of intense. Like, and you just have that thought in the back of your head, like, this can't be good for me. Like these
No.
can't be good for me. And I have had my own hormonal imbalances and struggles too with the underactive thyroid. And I know that these chemicals can have a huge impact on your thyroid. And it wasn't until I really delved deeper into my knowledge about my own like thyroid health, how much I was just in shock that we have access, so easy access to these products.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, like on the labels, how it has that harmful warning. Like if your children like accidentally get into it, that it's life threatening to them. So why
Yeah.
do we need such life threatening products? Like where is this stemming from? Like,
I know. And I think the other thing that, and there's a lot more studies coming out, is that precocious puberty is a huge factor right now, that there are girls as young as 6 years old that are hitting puberty. And that is scary. That is freaking scary that a child that's in prep year one is hitting puberty. Um, and that's due to this overwhelming exposure to so many chemicals, let alone the chemicals that they can digest as well. So this is just chemicals, through inhalation, through sprays and through skin contact as well, through creams and lotions and stuff. But then yes, like you said, there's obviously, so much danger in the fact that there are just so many harmful chemicals, particularly cleaning products, that if a child, let alone an adult, was to digest, it could potentially end their life.
mhm. And so that's why I love, like, I'm not going to go into specifics around the product because I know there's heaps of products out there that you can get for alternative options. But I love the one that you introduced me to, and the way it opened my eyes. I was like, oh, so I can have a cleaning product that if my kids accidentally, like, heaven forbid they do drink it, but if they accidentally do, the most like we got to do is like just get them to drink some water, wash it out, and they'll be okay. Like, okay, that can be an option because I always had in my mind like you have to have these heavy bleaches, you have to have these cleaning products that are toxic, and that's the only way. And I'm like,
Mm,
crazy. Like there of course there are other options.
that's right. And I guess it comes down to, we're conditioned to buy certain things. It's, I guess, the availability of what is off the shelf,
Yeah.
the price point as well. And that a lot of the time, a lower price point means that there are corners cut and there's probably going to be more harmful chemicals put in there in order to preserve that product.
Yeah.
It's not always the case, but I would say 90% of the time, that cheaper alternative is, there's going to be corners cut and there's going to be more harmful chemicals in there to preserve that product so that it, can remain longer in your household.
Yeah, it makes sense. Can
Yeah.
you maybe give some tips on to someone like that, say, if they're going to the supermarket or if there's another place that that there might be what to look out for them, like how to like read the ingredients, like what to, yeah, really look
Yeah.
out.
Yep. So delving into one of the biggest red flags that I always say to any clients is look for things that have fragrance written on there.
Mm.
Fragrance is a huge red flag, and sometimes it can come under the label as perfume or natural fragrance or natural perfume. That immediately is a red flag because fragrance actually can host, I think it's up to like 3,000. The International Fragrance Association says that it can host up to like 3,500 different chemicals under that one label. And the reason being is because the industry is so unregulated, and the corporation that is creating this fragrance or perfume doesn't have to disclose what is in it, because it's a trademark secret. It's their trademark. So they don't actually need to disclose what constitutes their perfume or fragrance. But what you will find, and what's been found through numerous studies, is that these fragrances or synthetic fragrances will host a lot of endocrine disrupting chemicals. And these EDCs, endocrine disrupting chemicals, actually mimic your natural hormones, which causes this hormonal imbalance. And the more that you are using and consuming products that have these synthetic fragrances in them, which host these endocrine disrupting chemicals, is going to impact your natural hormonal system, which is just crazy.
Yeah. So there
So
you go.
yeah, so fragrance is a huge one, and fragrance can hold some of those more harmful chemicals, or those EDCs like parabens and phthalates as well. A couple of the other um, chemicals that I would say are red flags as well. Ammonium. So you'll find that in that blue spray that people like to use on their glass and mirrors. I'm not going to name names, but I think people will know.
It's straight,
Um,
yeah, popped straight into my head.
yeah, that bright blue spray that you'll use on your mirrors and glass. So that's a big one. Triclosan you can find in a lot of triclosan you can find in a lot of hand washers and dishwashing detergents. That's the word. Formaldehyde is another one. So formaldehyde you can find in a lot of laundry detergents. And a lot of people will say to me, oh, laundry, it's not that bad. But when you're considering that you're washing your clothes, what it might be a couple of times a week, your sheets, your towels, and that, and you are physically wearing those clothes, 90% of your day, you're sleeping in your sheets, and that residue of whatever you're washing your clothes in will stay on the fabric, on that material as well. So considering like all aspects of the home, not just cleaning, but even laundry. So yeah, there are a couple of them. There's SLS, another one, bleach. There's quite a few. And another one that I flagged with a few people is phenooxyethanol. So phenooxyethanol is actually found in a lot of baby wipes. And that was something that was a big thing for me, because having young children, and we're still using baby wipes, like they're 3.5 now, but we still use them to clean faces and things like that. But when I think about when they're a baby and actually, wiping those parts of their bodies with harmful chemicals, like that exposure would be so high. And for young children, just like pregnant women, they are at higher exposure to these chemicals. And there's even studies that are showing that the chemicals that pregnant women are exposed to are actually getting passed through the umbilical cord. And so a lot of children are actually getting birthed with these harmful chemicals already in their system. So it's just mind blowing, but it just shows the impact of these environmental factors, particularly on young children, pregnant women, let alone, teenagers and adults.
Hence why we're having so many more gut issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to remind everyone there too, just because the nutritionist coming out of me, the gut issues have that connection to the mind as well. When your gut's off, your mind's off, hence why we have more anxiety, hence why we have more depression.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just crazy that it can start from birth now. That's really scary. And the wipes, insane when you're literally wiping your child's genitals with them. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's so scary. And also, I just want to reiterate too, it makes sense with our hormones getting, when you were saying about the cleaning, how it gets on our skin, because we always are leaking hormones from our body. Like we're just radiating, like that estrogen, we are seeping out of our skin. you literally can get like hormone replacement therapy where you have creams where you put on and it gets seeped into the skin. So it makes sense that these chemicals can get seeped into our skin and become those endocrine disruptors.
Yeah, and look, there is a lot of fear mongering out there, to say that
Yeah.
everything that goes on your skin is going to be directly absorbed into your bloodstream. And I just want to reiterate that that's not essentially true, because you do have barriers on your skin. Like, your body is a phenomenal organism, and your skin is your largest organ, but there comes a point where these chemicals will overload and they will seep in and they will enter your bloodstream. And there is such thing as bioaccumulation due to this overwhelming exposure. And I've had clients and even family and friends say to me, oh, but it's only a little bit. I don't use that much. But literally, there's studies out there, like one from the EWG, so from the Environmental Working Group, stating that women on average will go through at least 12 personal care products each day. And in those 12 personal care products, they will consume around approximately 168 different chemicals.
Yeah.
That's insane. And when I first read that and heard that, I was like, oh, I don't use 12. But then when you actually count them, your toothpaste, your makeup, your skin lotion, your body wash, your perfume, your deodorant, your hair shampoos, conditioners, like, there's just so many things. I could already count, close to 10 that I would use every single day. And just imagine how much exposure you would have to those different chemicals. And your home, you spend, 90% of your time indoors, whether that's at home or in your work environment or whatever it might be. And your home is actually 5 to 7 times more polluted than outdoors because of all of these sprays, cooking oils. There's so many different things, candles burning, cleaning products, all of those fumes, all of those volatile organic compounds that are, circulating in that space. You're going to have exposure not only to you, but also the people that you're living with. So it is that ripple effect. What the decisions you make, particularly if you are a mum and you've got kids, will impact your family too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if anyone's listening to this, remember to take those baby steps. Like, you can only do so much. But it is that what you were saying, it's how it accumulates. It's not just, yeah, a once off here and there, but it's how it builds up and accumulates. Like, I was a skin therapist for 6 years. I know
Yeah.
that over time, the more and more you put things on your skin, it can have an effect to your endocrine system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so let's quickly talk too, just a little bit about essential oils, because I know with essential oils you do have a bit of knowledge around that. But just someone that is starting out with essential oils, because I know there's a lot of noise out there around this too, that this is the healthier alternative. You can use essential oils into a lot of your practices. How does someone go about starting off there? Because that can be quite overwhelming.
Yeah, yeah. So I started delving into essential oils around, it was about 2.5 years ago. In saying that, I have sort of, played around with essential oils over the past sort of 10 years, but I really got into them over the last 2.5 years from a girlfriend that was using a particular essential oil company. What I will say is learn about the company, the corporation that you're getting your essential oils from, because like you said, there is a lot of noise out there and the essential oil industry is unregulated, like so many other industries, the cosmetic industry as well. Like, even in saying that, the FDA with like personal care and cosmetic products, there's like, I think it's 10,000 different chemicals used within cosmetics, but only I think 11 of them have actually been banned or restricted by the FDA. And countries are starting to take initiative by banning or, restricting particular chemicals, but it is so unregulated. So the essential oil industry is very much the same, which means that an essential oil can be classified as an essential oil, as a pure essential oil, as long as it has 5% of the pure oil within the bottle. So let's say it's a lavender essential oil. a company can classify it as a lavender essential oil as long as it has just 5% of the pure lavender oil. So that means that other 95%, they can fill it with water, they can fill it with other synthetic fragrance, whatever it might be, which is just insane. And I think that's why there's such a difference in price point from, the $3, $4 bottle you can get from a big supermarket chain to maybe one that you might buy from a health food store that might be about $15, $20 to one that you might buy from a high grade essential oil company that might be, $25 or $30. Like, you'll see those different price points because, again, it is so unregulated. So just my biggest advice is learn about the company that you're getting your oils from. Make sure that it is a high grade oil. It's a pure essential oil. Learn about the distillation process as well. So yes, the company that I use, I've got a lot of knowledge around. I trust them wholeheartedly, and I've had huge success using their essential oils for the last 2.5, 3 years in a multitude of ways. So I'll share a couple of the ways that I use my essential oils, like in my different routines and my cleaning and things like that. So the biggest one that I use my essential oils for, well, one of the, not the biggest one, but I guess my starting point was cleaning. So you can easily make up a cleaning spray. So for anyone who's at home and like, okay, let me start with my cleaning, as you said, start small. And what I say with my clients is start with one particular area. I generally, if they're not sure, I always say start with the things that you use every single day. So for me, it's some form of perfume or deodorant, and it's my cleaning products because I've got kids, so I'm always wiping down benches and tables and mess. So with my cleaning products, you can easily make your own spray and wipe, multi-purpose cleaning spray just with white vinegar and then adding an essential oil in. Now, look, if you haven't used essential oils yet, start with white vinegar. White vinegar is so powerful. It's incredible on mirrors and glasses, but it's so good for bench tops as well. So it's like your general sort of multi-purpose. The essential oils will not only help with the fragrance, because we generally like a fragrance like a lemon or a eucalyptus, but a lot of these oils actually have those antimicrobial and antiseptic properties within them. So they're actually going to assist the white vinegar to help kill off the bacteria that's on that space. So utilizing like a lemon or a eucalyptus, I use an oil called Thieves. So that's from Young Living, and it's got different essential oils within that blend, cinnamon, clove, and it's got that real like cinnamon chai sort of smell to it. It's beautiful. So you can easily make up a cleaning spray that way. You can make up a cleaning scrub. So scrubbing for like bathroom sinks, kitchen sinks, just by using bicarb soda, a little bit of white vinegar, and then adding an essential oil in. And particularly, like I said, those essential oils that have those antiseptic and antimicrobial properties within them. You could even make up laundry powder, similar, bicarb soda, a little bit of washing soda. So that's using sodium carbonate. And you can get them from a lot of health food shops, a little bit of sea salt and some Epsom salts, and then adding your essential oils in, such as lemon. So lemon is a natural whitener. Because a lot of those whiteners that are put within laundry detergents are actually quite toxic and harmful, and they're quite deceiving too. And yeah, so you can make up a lot of products just by using simple things at home like bicarb soda, white vinegar, Epsom salts. And I utilize my oils also in different ways. So like my morning routine, I use particular oils to help with my hormonal imbalance. So with Young Living, I use an oil called Progessence Plus, which is a natural form of progesterone. It's got the wild yam extract in it with a few other hormone boosting oils. I use also something to ground myself for the day. So I've spoken about it before. Frankincense is one of my favorite oils. It's like the ultimate grounding oil. It's such a beautiful one to calm that nervous system. So I utilize that in my morning routine. If I need to pick me up through the day, I like to use a peppermint oil, and I'll just inhale it a few times. It's also such a good muscle relaxer too. So if I've got sore muscles from dancing and Pilates, I'll utilize my peppermint. And then for sleep, not only for my husband, because he is someone who struggles with sleep, but also for my kids that don't want to go to sleep at night, I always go to lavender. Lavender is just such a beautiful calming oil. And I'll either be spraying it on their sheets, like their linen, their pajamas, or I'll be diffusing it in their room. So there are so many different oils. Like there are so many single oils. There's so many different blends out there. There are different essential oil companies. Obviously, I use a lot of Young Living currently because I know the brand, and I've used it for quite some time now. But yeah, just know where you're getting them from. And yeah, you can utilize them in so many different ways. And like I've got a stack of other oils, but these are some of the ones that I will use every single day. You know, something for my hormones, something for sleep, something to help with my nervous system, and then something to help with like muscles. And then there's even oils that you can look at there to help with like respiratory conditions, especially if you're feeling a bit under the weather. Um, but yeah, that's what I love to share with my clients.
There's so much in there. So I just want to say to anyone who's listening, if you can, go back, listen to the things, the toxic chemicals that Gabby mentioned to avoid. Listen to the different cleaning options and what you can do, because these are just great free tips in today's podcast. So I just really want you to take a lot out of this. But also, we do talk a lot about this in the holistic method, and keep on the lookout for that because that'll be coming out again next.
Absolutely. And because we'll be having a group chat function and we'll be having our Zoom calls, like we can really dive deep into getting your hands on, like how to actually make these, you know, whether you want to start utilizing essential oils or whether you're not at that point, but you want to start simplifying your home and using safer natural alternatives. We will get you there. We will go through every little single step to get you there that's not overwhelming. And you can start, you know, room by room or start with just cleaning. And let's just focus on that for the first 3 months. And then, you know, let's delve into some personal care. I will be very honest with you, to transition my home over to a low tox natural home, because I would say pretty much, I'd say 98% of my home, well, we've been fragrance free in our home for 2.5 years, but other than maybe some external things coming in here and there, we've pretty much low toxed our home. And it took us about 12 months. It took us about a year to successfully do that in a way that was maintainable and wasn't overwhelming for me as well, because I was a new mum. So I was, you know, trying to be a mum of twins and learning how to do that. So to successfully do your pretty much your whole home. And when I say that, it's like your cleaning, your personal care, your kids, your cookware, all the different things. I'd say you're looking at, you know, anywhere between 9 to 12 months, but that's a way that actually would be maintainable so that you can instill these habits to keep that consistency going well into the future.
Yeah, I can see your little diffuser on in the background.
I
So
know. Got my diffuser on. I got some lime, some stress away on at the moment. It's a
got
very
it
zen
going on.
environment.
Love that. Okay, so for the
Okay.
last topic today, it's all
Yes.
about putting what you're putting yourself, the environment you're putting yourself into. And we talked about the low toxing, we talked about essential oils, which are great tips. And as I said, lots of free information in today's episode.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about who are you surrounding yourself with? Like the relationships around you and things like that. I know for myself, this was a big one. This was a huge game changer in my life. If anyone's listened to the podcast, you would have known already, like we moved from Melbourne to Queensland, a completely different state in Australia. And it was a big change for us. Melbourne, it's always been a bit cooler. It's been very cold. I also felt like I was stuck in a place where I had kind of grown up for. I knew a lot of people around me, and I wanted to become a new person. I wanted to create a new me. And I think sometimes we get stuck in this persona where we feel like we have to stay with who we think we are or have been so far. And it wasn't until I did move states and created a completely new environment around myself that I got to become the person like I wanted to be. And I'm not saying you have to move. You can not easily, it can be hard, but you can do that in any circumstance. But it was really eye-opening for me when we moved states. I feel like I'm surrounding myself with people that are uplifting me now, that are inspiring me. Like we connected online, that I would never have connected with someone online 4 or 5 years ago. Like that is just, if you told like me 5 years ago, like that was a thing, I would have been like, no, that's crazy. Like I don't do that. Um, so I feel like for my personal well-being, for me, myself, I know that that has been a complete life changer, game changer for me. I just wanted to say, like, have you had any experiences like that yourself in any sort of way?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll tell you about one that I noticed that it was affecting my own energy. It was draining my own energy. So, one example was about between 10 maybe to 12 years ago. I had a good friend of mine, but this friend was one that was very much complaining, very down, very whiny, whingy about things, always in a very low vibrational state, very negative, and put herself in this sort of victimization role. And because she was in this sort of state of lack, that's what she was attracting in her life. But what I had noticed is that I hadn't created healthy boundaries.
Mm,
And being the empath that I was listening, but I wasn't just listening. I was taking in that energy because I was putting myself in that room, in that space on a very frequent occasion, trying to help support, give advice. Nothing was being absorbed. And I started to notice my own unconstructive thoughts, which was then producing very sort of destructive and negative outcomes in my life because I was surrounding myself with that energy. And
mm,
it was draining me, but then it was also bringing down my own energy and my own vibration. And then I was attracting that within my life. And I guess I was pretty much at that point telling the universe subconsciously, just give me all the rubbish. Give me all the rubbish because I'm the victim. I'm the victim here. Woe me. I'm the victim of my own life. And because I was surrounding myself with that energy on a very regular occasion. But what I have taken away from that when I started to distance myself and started to create some more healthy boundaries, as you probably heard this analogy, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And that was the thing that I took away from that. I can give as much advice and support as I can because that's my nature, but I can't make them take that on. It's up to them in the end. And I needed to realize that because I was trying so hard to fix and mend and make her feel amazing and uplift her. But yeah, you can lead the horse to water as much as you want, but you can't make her drink. If she's not ready to take that on and she wants to stay in that mindset, it's up to her to pull herself out of that. And I think that that was a really big indicator of how much environmental factors can impact your own energy and your own mindset. So a couple of thoughts that I want the listeners to, I guess, consider and ponder over these. What rooms are you putting yourself in? Are they either magnifying your energy or are they draining your energy? And it's not just the rooms at home, it's also your work environment. It's also other family environments, maybe with relatives, maybe it's friendship circles. Are they magnifying your energy? Are they draining your energy? If
mm,
you want to level up, you need to start putting yourself in those settings that magnify your energy, that make you feel good. You want to surround yourself with the caliber of people that you want to embody yourself. The
mhm,
people that caliber of high vibrational, motivational energy, you want to surround yourself with that. And it's not just the people, it's the settings too. It's the experiences, the things that you're doing, the things that make you feel good, make you feel peaceful, but also make you feel authentically you.
mhm,
If you feel like you're dulling yourself down or putting yourself into a box and saying, I'm not going to say that because, that might be embarrassing or that might make them feel insecure. Or if you're that person that's people pleasing and going out of your way, then there might be some underlying wounds that we need to unpack. There might be some things that we need to address. And again, that sort of circulates back to that mindset module, which we delve into in depth in the holistic method. But things to consider is, okay, if you're dulling yourself down or if you're people pleasing, maybe there is a sense of lack of self-worth. Maybe there's this fear to show your true self. Are you fearing this sense of self-acceptance or needing the validation of others? Are you conforming to societal norms of what is deemed acceptable? And that's why you're sort of shutting yourself down.
mm,
Um, you don't want to be. You want to authentically be you, but you also want to feel damn good. You want to feel motivated and uplifted. You want to be in these expansive spaces that make you feel good. And that's why environment is not just the physical things, it's also those circumstantial things, because they are going to play a huge part of not only your mindset, but also the decisions you make. You know, the decisions you make with your family, with your career, with your friendships. So there are a couple of things to consider. And I guess it comes also down to aligning with your own personal values. So considering, what do you value? Because that's how you're going to find your tribe. And it goes beyond more, I guess, some of the main things. You know, a lot of people will say, yeah, I value my family and I value my friends and I value happiness. But also, if you're someone that values your health or your personal growth, if you're on a self-discovery journey, if you're someone who highly values self-care, it's not just this woo-woo thing, it's actually a necessity. If you're someone that values time freedom, you need to be in the presence of people that are also on that energetic level. Because I like to use the analogy, the pool that you sit in, it will transfer to you like on osmosis. So
Mm.
the pool of friends or the family or the work environment that you sit in, it's going to transfer to your energy. And you want to be in the same energetic field as them, because you want to be in that one that's high vibrational, that's expansive, that's uplifting, and that's freaking motivates the heck out of you. And that's why I'm so passionate about not just the physical aspects of your environment, because obviously that's going to impact your body and your hormones and your mental state, but also the situations that you're putting yourself in, or like you said, the situationships. And so being mindful of the toxicity of relationships and environments is one of the most difficult things. And anyone will say that, because it's sometimes so hard to walk away, especially if it's a close friend or a family member, but you know that they're draining your energy. You know it's a toxic environment. And speaking to a few friends of mine, they're in toxic environments, but it's in their work. And they're like, well, Gab, what do I do? Like, this is my work. And I think the biggest thing is starting to create healthy and strong boundaries,
Mm.
knowing what you will accept and accepting nothing less than that, you
Mhm.
know? So it's starting to take charge of your life. It's I love my job and I want to be in this environment, but there is so much toxicity. So we need to start creating those healthy, strong boundaries and accepting nothing less than what you decide on.
Yeah. And coming from personal experience from a huge once people pleaser, that struggled to create those boundaries, what I found helped the most was putting myself in those situations where I did find other people first. So finding those other people first, going to those more those circles where there were those people that were uplifting, that were inspiring, were the people I wanted to hang out with. They helped me then realize what life could be. And then it became easier for me to make those boundaries. And now I still, because it's a inner child thing for me, it's a past thing for me. So I still have to catch myself at times, but it's like something that I have now found so much easier to create boundaries for myself. And I have so much more confidence in myself because of the relationships that I've created since like moving here, like finding you, going to those networking events and putting myself into places where other, women in business that are aspiring to do something similar to me, like that is so powerful. And they've helped me create those boundaries and create that self-confidence in me. So if anyone's kind of like, it's so hard to create boundaries, like, how do I do it? For me personally, it helped when I just found those other people first. They helped me then create those boundaries.
Yeah. And starting to choose you, starting to put you
The
first. And
work.
that's hard for me too, because I'm someone that, has many of times put others first. So starting to choose you.
Yeah. And talking about boundaries, I am actually reading a book at the moment. If anyone's interested, it's called Boundaries. I can't remember who wrote it, but it's really powerful and really good. So if you're like needing an extra little helping hand in this, I highly recommend that book. But also we go into this once again a lot in the holistic method. Like, as we said, it's a holistic approach. It's not just, we don't just talk about low toxing your home. We don't just talk about nutrition. Like, we talk about these nitty gritty things because it all matters and it all entwines with each other. So
Yeah. And I think the last thing that I'll just leave you with is, if this has become so overwhelming, this episode, Please take the time to go back. Obviously, you can reach out to either Gemma and I, but I will say when you're starting to look at lifestyle and living mindfully, there's a 4-step sort of process that I start with, and you don't need anything physically to do that. So the first thing is awareness. So be aware of what you are using and consuming in your home, because these choices are going to affect your health. So start being curious, look around, look at the things that you're using, even to the point of like candles, because, and I'm an avid candle lover, but be mindful of like the wax, the lead, the synthetic fragrance. So start to be curious about the things you're using in your home. Actually go through, do a bit of an inventory of how many products have fragrance or perfume on there. The next thing is gratitude. So it's all well and good to go, I want to do this, I want to do that. First of all, come back to a sense of gratitude. So after this awareness, be grateful that, you've got your basic needs being met, and probably more than that, and that comes back to our first module, which is all about mindfulness and coming from a state of gratitude. Then the third step is reflect. So now that I've got this awareness, but I'm grateful for what I have, and I have this awareness of what I'm using, okay, reflect on what can I start to alter so I can make these positive and constructive changes in my life that's going to impact my mental and physical health. And then the fourth step is taking action. So what can I start doing today, tomorrow, next week, next year, that will start making these constructive changes to improve my well-being? And just start small. One little thing, change your perfume. Create a natural perfume using essential oils and some fractionated coconut oil. That's all you need. A face wash, all you need is a bit of Castile soap and a bit of essential oil. Start with that, Start with a cleaning product. I'm going to make my spray and wipe using a bit of white vinegar and a few drops of essential oil. So start with one little thing and then gradually build on that. And you will see monumental changes, not only into your physical health, your mental health, but it's going to impact those around you.
That's a great finisher. Thank you for tying that all together. As Gabby said, if you want to reach out, you can reach out to either of us, but we have some new exciting things coming up. So be following both of us. Our Instagram tags are in the show notes below, because we'll be announcing them on our personal page, but there's some big, big things coming for this new year with us too. And the holistic method is a great opportunity to join, because you are not getting just one coach, you're getting 2 coaches to help you. Like, that is insane.
Yeah.
For the price that you get as well. So as I said, just keep a lookout. We've got lots of things to announce. I wish we could announce them right now, but we're working on it.
Waiting game very soon.
Very, very soon. So I can't wait. We're both very excited. Thank you so much for coming on, Gabby, doing the part 3 series for us, and more to come, everyone. So stay tuned. As I said, follow us, be on the lookout, but I'll talk to you all in the next episode. Otherwise, bye guys.